gentlemen, welcome back once again. It's the weekly Pro Wrestling Rush. I am Jeff Jaros, your host, as always. This week, just along with Matt Shadis, Stephen Lane had some business to take care of tonight, so he couldn't make the episode. We give a shout-out to him, though, and say what's up. Hopefully he'll be back next week, which I'm pretty sure he will be, and he'll be listening. So what's up, Stephen? Matt, are you ready to get on with it?
Yeah.
We had the Elimination Chamber Sunday. I actually rented the pay-per-view and watched it. Did you get to watch the pay-per-view?
Yeah, I watched it the next day.
Was it on WWE Network the next day?
It was not on the network, but I found another stream of it.
See, I was wondering because I went on the next day and I could pull up stuff, but I couldn't play any videos on it, and I didn't see the Chamber was on there, and I'm like, man, they didn't play the Chamber on here because I remember you saying you were going to watch it. But at least you watched it, so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get to see the pre-show? Brotherhood versus Ryback and Curtis Axel.
No, I did not. I did not see the pre-show.
Yeah, that was actually a really good match. Cody hit the crossroads for the win on Hennick, Curtis Axel. But the cool thing about this match is they had Larry the Axe Hennick, his grandpa, come out and manage him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was thinking, man, I wish he would have seen that. So, yeah, I don't know if I think they should keep doing that and have Axe as their mentor.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It looked like Axel was all pumped up, just because his grandpa's presence was there. It was really neat to see, I thought. So, that was a really cool thing about that match.
Yeah, it's too bad Kurt's not around.
You'll have to go on YouTube, and I seen on YouTube somebody had it posted, the Brotherhood versus Rybaxel, so you'll have to go check it out and see Larry the Axe.
Definitely.
Okay, so yeah, I'm saying on that was a good match. Now, I'm thinking about this Brotherhood thing, and we said they were going to lead to a match at Mania, but it just doesn't seem like they have any... It's not looking like it. It's like they don't have any emphasis or don't know what to do with them now, which is terrible because I love their run as the tag team champions.
Right.
I was loving it. I'd rather see them have the belts right now than the Outlaws.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would like to see it on the Usos, but, the Outlaws will do for now.
Yeah, the Outlaws are cool having it and everything, but I think that they should have had an ongoing feud with Cody and Goldust until, that was resolved and then go to the Usos. I think that would have made it better. They just went right past the Brotherhood after having that hell of a title reign with all those good matches. It just seems weird. What did they do? I'm wondering. I think we both picked that for the win too. We both picked the Brotherhood was going to win that. The next match that kicked off the pay-per-view was Big E defeating Swagger. He hit the big ending for the pin, which we both knew that Swagger wasn't going to win the IC title. What'd you think of that match? I think Big E's kind of coming in. I think Big E's kind of coming into his own. What do you think?
I really dig Big E. I like Big E.
I think he's got a lot of charisma, and he's got a lot of fire. I really don't like his entrance with the powder, like he's getting ready to lift weights.
I like that. It's like the LeBron James thing that LeBron does before the match. I think that's pretty cool.
I guess we have our own opinion on that, but...
And I like his theme song, too.
Did you see he has a new theme song now?
Well, I think they switched it, and then I think this is the original one.
Okay, because...
When they switched it, they took the bass out of it and made it more like dancey and poppy, and then they put the bass back in it, it sounded like.
Because I remembered texting you the night of the pay-per-view saying that he had a new entrance theme.
Yeah, no, I think it is new, but it's an older version of it, because he used to have it.
Yeah, I think in NXT his theme song was real over, and maybe they went back to the one he was using then.
Yeah, and I think that's what they did. And what he did in NXT that he's not doing now, which kind of blows me out, is he used to ask for a 5 count on a pin.
Yeah, they aren't doing that now, but he was asking for 5 counts. I saw that on NXT because whenever they called him up, I went back and looked at some of his matches just before he wrestled, and just to see what he was all about, and he was doing that 5 count thing. Yeah, that's cool. They should do that again.
I really enjoy that. I like that, and I like that. That's like the aspect of wrestling that I really like. Like when those kinds of like things in the ring, like that psychology side of it.
Yeah.
And like when Ryan used to, when he was running as a heel, he would pull little off and tell him that he has till 5 to break the hold in the ropes and stuff like that. That's really cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love the psychology part where they hold on for the 4 count and then let go and stuff, and they try to make it more realistic. Yeah, I'm with you. They need to do a lot more of that.
I feel like that part of that aspect has kind of been lost.
Yeah, and if you remember the 5 count, King Kong Bundy originally started doing that back in the day.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And I always thought that was pretty neat. I liked Bundy, but when I got older, I'm like, man, this guy was just a big fat guy, you know?
Exactly.
He looked huge when I was a kid, and I thought he was cool, and then when I got older, I'm like, man, this guy's just not cool. You know, so
right.
Bundy. Okay. So the New Age Outlaw. So, yeah, we both called that match, too, that Big E was going to retain the title. Actually, to tell you the truth, I called every single match that there was. I think we both did.
I think we did.
New Age Outlaws defeated the Usos to retain the titles, which I was not surprised by. I think they're going to keep going on with this feud, and as we go on to Raw, I think you'll see why. Good feud going between the Outlaws and the Usos, by the way. They had a pretty decent match. Billy rolled up Jimmy for the win or something. I can't remember which one. Yeah. It was kind of a screw job, kind of. Not really, but it wasn't a clean victory, I don't think. So the Outlaws defeat the Usos to retain the belts. Nothing surprising there. So I guess we'll go on to Titus defeating Darren Young, and I'm going to tell you what, Titus O'Neil's going to do good. I think he really.
I missed this match. I missed this one.
I think he really gets it. He won with the Clash of the Titus for the pin. It wasn't a total squash on Young like I said it was going to be, thought it was going to be, and I said last week. But Young got some offense in, but it was pretty much Titus was dominant. It was a good victory.
Titus has that it factor.
He does have the it factor. Although he's not the most coordinated guy in the world. If you watch how his body's movement and stuff, he's not the most smooth, but he makes it work, man.
I think he's coordinated. I just think he's got like these really long limbs. And it makes it look like he's a little off.
Yeah, it just seems a little strange, his body type, kind of like Swagger too.
Yeah.
It makes it kind of hard, like, to really like him, but I guess, you know, he's starting to get over on me, old Titus. So we'll see what happens with them, because I see a push as a Monster Hill coming for him real soon. As maybe I think they are.
Maybe he'll go after that Intercontinental title.
That'd be nice. That'd be a good feud, Big E and Titus.
Yeah.
Heck, that'd be actually, I'd like to see them two put together.
Tag team?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That could work.
2 powerful guys. He's more of the leaner, you know, and the other one's just straight power. So it'd be a nice tag team. They could come up with some cool moves together, finishers and stuff. That'd be a hard tag team to beat too. So Titus comes into his own on that. The Wyatts against the Shield, downright the match of the night. These guys, exactly what I said. They went all out. What do you think, Matt?
I thought it was everything I thought it was going to be.
Me too. I was not let down one bit. And then the man who stood out in this match to me was Seth Rollins. I mean, he was amazing in that match.
Oh, man.
He
reminds me of a young Punk.
Yeah, he looks like CM Punk in my opinion, without the bags under his eyes.
Right, he looks like an indie version Punk.
Yeah, he really looks like they could be brothers.
Right.
You know, I'm surprised they didn't try to do something like that. Rollins, though, yeah, I think I like him after that match a lot more than I did before because they finally let him shine, you know. It was like...
Yeah, that's what that did. It let everybody know that Rollins is going to be okay when they break this...
yeah, he's going to be
breaking up the Shield.
He's going to be a player. I don't think I see him going the way that that dude from Nexus did that used to do the 450 splash. Justin Gabriel. He ain't going that way.
No.
Because I thought Gabriel was going to be a breakout star out of the Nexus, and he never was. But like I said, I think Rollins has it much more than he ever did.
Oh, definitely.
Wyatt hit Reigns with Sister Abigail for the pin on that one. I think we both called that the Wyatts were going to win that match, and the Shield dissension would start. I didn't really see the dissension starting that. Except for when he left. Except for when Ambrose left.
You kind of got that feeling when Ambrose didn't show back up.
That it was going to come. Yeah, I got the feeling, too, that the next night on Raw we were going to hear about that.
Right.
And as we go into that, we'll get into that more. But great match. If you haven't seen that match, you got to go back and watch it. Anybody listening? I mean, that was just excellent. I couldn't. That was worth the money for the pay-per-view right there, in my opinion. Batista Del Rio. I think, as we all knew, Batista was gonna beat Del Rio. This match was almost hilarious. It had CM Punk chants as well as Daniel Bryan, Y2J, RVD, We Want Lesnar, and Dolph Ziggler. On top of the most boos that I've heard, worse than Cena. This guy is not even getting over like Cena. He isn't getting any cheers. He's not getting any cheers.
Batista was dead in the water.
He's like a deer in headlights too. He doesn't really know what to do or think of it. He thought he was going to come back and people were going to love him, I think, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, just bad timing on that. I mean, I don't think it's anything that Batista did.
No, I think it was the WWE. I really think it was the WWE's fault with the way they introduced him that night.
Right.
Coming out in that outfit and stuff. I can't get over that.
And you add in the whole thing that everybody wants Daniel Bryan, and Batista is obviously going to become the next champ. I mean, that's what it's looking like.
Which is bullshit, because it should be Daniel Bryan in that spot.
And I think that Batista's just catching the rap for it right now.
I agree. People just don't like him because he just got put in back in the company and shoved right into the main event for the belt without really doing shit.
Yeah,
and that's the
circumstance. Not really his fault.
I mean, he was blowing up in the Rumble, so it was like he really wasn't ready, in my opinion, and I still don't think he's totally in ring shape.
Well, he's not. That's why he's working all these house shows.
Yeah. Did you see? It looked like he hurt his arm on that Batista bomb too, and I noticed the night after he was still holding that arm.
Yeah, he probably did hurt himself.
I think he twisted his arm or something. He'll probably end up tearing a muscle or something before long. Okay, but enough about Batista. They actually did throw the only match that we did not talk about last week. AJ defeated Naomi. They actually threw a women's match in there at the last minute, which I was wondering if they were ever going to do. That match was just, I didn't even really pay attention. How about you?
Yeah, no, I might have fast-forwarded.
I think I fast-forwarded. That's how bad the women's... You know, when Trish and Lita were in there, I wouldn't fast-forward, but now I fast-forward every single women's match if I have the chance.
I like the AJ and Naomi, because she can actually wrestle.
Right. I think AJ's a good wrestler too, though, but I hate her personality.
Right. I mean, AJ wrestles down when she has nobody to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, there's no...
Yeah, there's nobody else in the division. Yeah, there's nobody...
AJ.
Yeah, there's nobody but AJ in the division that can really wrestle. They got Snuka's daughter who could probably wrestle a little bit with her, which is strange. You know, I don't know if they're planning on having a feud between these two soon.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do the Diesel HBK.
That's what it's looking like. I think Tamina Snuka hasn't really gotten to do much at all, really, to show herself.
It's that women's division is super light.
Yep. So, enough with that. And then it was the main event of the night, Orton winning the Elimination Chamber. We all knew it was going to happen. I think all three of us said it, except Steven said Cesaro was going to win, which I knew that would be a long shot that he would kind of win. He was the first one eliminated, I think.
But he swung Randy Orton 30 times?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, this guy is so over, so strong, and so good in the ring. It amazes me that WWE just is going to just blow him off. I don't know if that was his...
He's got some stuff coming at that shit.
I don't know if this was just like, okay, here you go. You're in the main event picture now. You're going to lose first, but you're in the main event picture now. We're moving you up. It was kind of like a promotion. Even though he knew he wasn't going to go anywhere in the chamber, just his mere presence there made a statement, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And the guy, hands down, that impressed me in this, Christian. He did a hell of a job.
Christian's good, man.
He did great in that chamber, man. I think he's back where he was. He's old Christian again. He's putting on hella matches. He's out there. He's physical. He's going hardcore. That splash off the top of the pod was so cool. He even did a sweet spot where they like power bombed him through the pod or something. I remember it was pretty neat. He had a lot of good spots in that match. I think he came out as the main. He shined better than anybody in that match. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, he's probably the man of the night.
Yeah, I think he was. I really think he was, and that's why they gave him the match the next night. I think.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the starting match. You know what I mean? We'll get into it. But Orton winning the Chamber. You had the Wyatts come out and screw Cena, which I think we thought that something like that was going to happen, and we even called it that Kane was going to come out and screw Bryan. I don't know anybody who didn't think that. What'd you think of those two deals? Obvious.
I mean, typical, right? I mean, it's predictable. We all saw it happening.
Yeah, I think the whole pay-per-view was predictable. Obviously, we got every match right. When are they going to shake some things up? I just think that wrestling period has always been predictable, really. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't like having this Elimination Chamber pay-per-view after the Rumble and before Mania. Because, I mean, you can pretty much figure out what's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost just unnecessary. I'd rather see, like you said, a 2-month period of nothing but Mania lead-in.
Right.
I
mean, you could move. I don't like the Chamber having its own pay-per-view. I wish the match was just on another, like on Survivor Series or something.
Me neither. I think that the Chamber is a great concept and a great gimmick match, but not worthy of its own pay-per-view. Just kind of like Hell in a Cell.
Right.
I don't get it. Those are just concept matches that should be thrown out at any time.
Right.
Why couldn't you have a Chamber match at the Mania? You know, I mean, how sweet would that be? You know what I mean? If they really would do something like that.
Right.
But it just seems like they don't want to do nothing but Hell in a Cells at Mania if they do any gimmick matches. Nothing but a Hell in a Cell. So overall in the pay-per-view, I'd give it a 6 to 7 out of 10. As far as giving us the money's worth and not disappointing people like they usually have. I know Steven was real disappointed in Randy Orton coming out with the belt, but I think we all knew that was going to happen.
Right.
He's a big Cesaro fan too, and he was disappointed with the way they treated him, which I can see almost why they did what they did with him. Like I said, I think it was a promotion thing. He's not quite there yet.
It's coming. I would almost bet that he has the title by the end of the year.
I would say so, too. If Sheamus got the title, I don't see why he can't get it.
Right.
Okay. So, that's enough for the Chamber. I think we both agree that it was a good pay-per-view to go, launch the network. I really do think it was.
Yeah.
It got me thinking, I want the network, So,
yeah.
We went to Raw the next night, so are you ready to get on with that?
Yeah.
Raw was cool. It was the launch of the network. It was everything that I expected, but less than I expected. Do you agree with that statement, or do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I was expecting there to be a bit more of a spectacle with the network launch.
Right, more like an old school Raw type deal. And they really, if they would have done an old school Raw for the launch of the network, I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Because I always enjoy those old school Raws, man. Just seeing the whole old school look and everything would have been perfect for the network, in my opinion, if they would have done that. But instead, they just went with the same, standard Raw that they usually do, standard show. So, you had some cool things happen. Right at the beginning, it kicks off, and you hear none other than it's I'm a Real American, Hulk Hogan, returning in all of his Hulkamania glory. And if you notice, he was straight old school Hogan. It was cool to see him, but it wasn't that great. Because we've been.
I was 8 years old again when that music hit.
I mean, I marked out when the music hit, and I even videotaped it on my camera and everything, just because I was like, this is a big moment of him coming back he's coming back for good now. But the only thing that ruins it for me is how he was acting in TNA, And now he's a totally different persona in WWE. I think, WWE threw him out there because it's the launch of the network, and they want their Mickey Mouse out there talking about the network, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
He is the Mickey Mouse of the WWE. Even when he dies, that's what he will always be. He's going to be that character in WWE that everybody knows,
Right.
And you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I even texted that to Steven that night. I go, they wanted their... He's like, why didn't they bring Hollywood out? I'm like, they want their Mickey Mouse out there. They wanted the straight old school Hogan that you're going to see on the network when you go back and watch the 1985 first WrestleMania.
Oh, he wasn't expecting Hollywood, was he?
Oh, he said he was expecting... He wanted Hollywood out there. I don't know if he was expecting Hollywood. We'll have to... he'll have to comment on this show after he hears it. We're going to have to let him hear it so he can tell us if he was really expecting Hollywood or not, because I was not. I was expecting straight Hogan.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely expecting Hulkamania.
The thing that threw me off is he had the feather boa on, though. Did he really need to wear the boa out?
Of course he did. This is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, well, that's kind of Hollywood Hogan, though, with the boa.
Well, he was wearing that red and yellow boa towards the end.
Of that last run. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. So after that was all cool. Then you went into the rematch of Batista versus Del Rio. Batista had Del Rio set up for the ending, the bomb, but Orton cut him off, and Del Rio rolled him up for the pin. Now, I was saying last week that Del Rio would be done after the Chamber, but obviously I was totally dead wrong, and you were dead right that he's not going anywhere. I seen a report that he actually wants to go for the belt, so I guess that's his argument backstage that he should be in the title picture. Him rolling up Batista for the win is kind of a big win for him, though, but it was really more just to get Orton out there to mention and bring up the bad fan reaction. He says that everybody hates him. He said that Batista is probably sorry about coming back. What'd you think of that? I thought that was funny. I think Triple H told Randy, go out there and just tell the fans exactly what they think,
Exactly.
So Batista comes back, claims, he's totally wrong. He loves this business. And he loves fans voicing their opinions. He said he'll boo them when they boo them. No, he'll cheer them when they cheer him, but if they boo him, he'll boo them back. He said that's just being honest, unlike Orton. And he said he'll beat Orton for the title at Mania, and so the fans can deal with it. I don't know about this interview. I mean, it's like they want to keep him a face, so they're going to try to keep him a tweener now until Mania.
Well, I read that I guess he's turning heel. I guess they're turning him on SmackDown.
So they are actually going to straight turn him heel, because there has been a lot of discussion about wanting him to turn heel, but they didn't want to do it till after Mania. Now, this is going to be real weird.
I called it a SmackDown spoiler. I didn't read the whole thing. I just read like a little blurb of it, and from what I understand is they turn him tomorrow night. He's getting turned.
Okay, well, if you watch SmackDown tomorrow night, let me know, because I don't get to see it. But I would like to know.
What does that mean? Are they going to turn Randy face?
That's what I'm saying. You're going to have a heel versus heel title match. I don't see that happening.
Is Punk back?
Hey, Chicago Monday, so you never know.
You never know.
Remember, you called it.
If he's not back Monday, he's not coming back till after Mania.
Right, and you told us, you mentioned on an earlier episode, I can't remember, one of the earlier episodes, that you said he would be back this Monday night, so we'll see if your premonition comes true.
Fingers crossed, man.
I hope he does. They really need him. It's hurting without him, in my opinion.
That would make sense. You wouldn't have to turn Randy. You can turn Batista like you need to.
And then you'd have Punk. Bring Punk. He'd be the straight face against two heels.
Slap that title on Punk.
Right. I totally agree.
Happy.
I totally.
Run with it for a little bit.
I totally agree. I think Punk's going to show up Monday.
I hope so.
And if he doesn't, like you said, it's over. This is the last chance until after Mania. He will not be at Mania if he does not show up tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I can actually see him showing up in ROH for a while.
I would like to see them turn this Batista deal with it into his catchphrase. I think that fits him.
Yeah, deal with it. You're right. You're right. And he was saying that after the match at Elimination Chamber, too. To the crowd, I seen him saying, deal with it, deal with it. He has such a monotone voice, though, and his promos do not come off really badass to me.
No, he can't cut a face promo to save his life. He can't do it.
It's just, he's monotone, though. He can't change his voice up, and he can't bring any emotions out in his voice, if you ever noticed.
Yeah, I mean, recently, since he's come back, but do you remember when he had that whole heel run right before he left?
Yeah.
He was doing some pretty good stuff.
Well, yeah, because he was a heel, and he don't have to have any emotion towards the fans, like, really, you know, he can be cold and heartless, and that's the way he needs to be. He's never been a good face. Right. So they screwed.
With a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
He could put a manager with him.
Man, if they could put a manager with him, that'd be great. Because I don't like this. Steven was saying he likes him as a heel. He likes his heel promos. He liked that promo.
I like heel Batista, absolutely.
Yeah. I do too. Way better than face Batista. I mean, come on. I'm not even liking him right now. I'm a kind of Batista fan from back in the Evolution days and stuff, from all that, but I'm not really even digging him right now. So moving. Yeah, me too. So moving on from there, so we don't take too much damn time. Big E took on Cesaro with Seb and Swagger, and it was another controversial ending, if you remember, because Cesaro put Big E into the swing, and then as he was psyching himself up to finish him off, it was Swagger jumps in the ring and slaps the Patriot Lock on Big E until it caused the disqualification, which left Cesaro sitting there with his hands up in the air like, what are you doing? Swagger tries to apologize, and then as they turn to leave, Big E attacks Swagger, but Cesaro picks him up and hit him with a nasty neutralizer, dropped him right on his head, if you've seen that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like,
nasty.
When he did it, I was like, oh man, he might have just broke his neck. It was a bad. Yeah, it was a bad landing, but I don't think it hurt him as bad as it looked. It could have been worse though. I think Cesaro.
I think Cesaro is used to just straight deadlifting people when he usually does that neutralizer. But it looked like Big E gave him a little too much of what they kind of got underneath of himself.
I think Big E weighed too much on him. I don't think he realized the weight he was going to have to be bearing up. He almost slipped out of his hands when he was going down. That's what it looked like.
Well, it looked like, to me anyway, it looked like there was just too much momentum and he almost actually flipped.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was more Big E's fault than Cesaro. Yeah.
Who knows?
It could have been a deal with like them being so sweaty and stuff too, you know, and not being able to get a good grip.
Yeah. True.
But that just leaves me one question on this match: is when are they going to break the Real Americans up? Maybe this could be a Mania match. I would hate to see it, but Cesaro Swagger at Mania, the end of the Real Americans, could actually happen.
Yeah, or you could play it out until Mania and maybe do like a 3 or 4 way tag team championship match, and then have Swagger cost them again, and then break them up after that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Break them up before Mania.
I think they should break them up before, don't you?
You think?
I think so, because Cesaro's coming into his own. I don't see Swagger as... Swagger's just dead weight to him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that.
If he wants to break out on his own, he's got to get rid of Swagger. If they want him in any kind of important Mania match, he's got to get rid of Swagger. There's just too many options to get rid of Swagger, you know?
Right.
And every week it's just been something different with them too. And you think they're going to break up, and then they're back being buddies again the next week, like everything's fine. I do think Swagger got jealous though at Chamber whenever Zeb was talking on the pre-show that, you know, he had Cesaro going for the championship, and Swagger was just going for the IC, and Swagger looked a little like...
Yeah, they're definitely planting the seeds of a breakup. It's just a matter of where they actually do it.
Right. So after that, you had the Cena segment where Cena came out and addressed the attack at the Chamber by the Wyatt family.
Kind of a heelish promo from Cena.
Say what?
It's kind of a heelish promo from Cena.
It really kind of was. You know, he kind of... I don't know if it was a heel promo.
He's the man and how everything's going to go through him.
He's been saying that for the last few weeks, that everybody's going to have to go through him, remember? So...
Yeah, but this week it just kind of, to me at least, it just kind of came off as on top in this place, you know?
Maybe they're trying to get him less cartoonish and give him more of an edge. Because there's no way they're going to heel him out going against Wyatt at Mania.
Oh, right. No, definitely not. But, I mean...
But yeah, I liked his attitude in the promo, though. It was a good attitude. You're right. You're right. Wyatt actually showed up and said, you know, Cena's a liar for telling people, you know, that he can protect the WWE Universe from, you know, the guys coming up. And he says he's...
How good is Bray Wyatt? I mean, seriously.
This guy is... He's amazing. And I've been saying that since I've seen him come on NXT. I was like, this guy is going to be a superstar if they play it right.
He is incredible.
Every now and then, though, it looks like WWE is trying to fuck things up with him, excuse my language, but every now and then I'm thinking, they better push him right, you know? A match with Cena at Mania just doesn't seem real plausible to me of why... I don't understand the feud. I would much rather have seen Taker versus Wyatt. And Cena...
I think this is going to deliver more than what you think it's going to. I think you're going to be surprised with this one.
Okay. Well, I'm just not really looking forward to the match. I love Bray Wyatt, but Cena is just not the greatest wrestler, and he really needs a good dance partner to have a good match like he had with Cesaro. And I don't see Wyatt being able to carry Cena.
I think it's going to deliver. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not one of the best matches of the night.
Well, you also got to figure in that the Wyatt family is going to be at ringside.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of things to work with, you know.
Yeah.
It don't have to just be Bray and Cena in the ring the whole time. That's one thing that's great about that whole deal.
I wouldn't be surprised if that match gets a stipulation.
That'd be yeah.
I'd
like to see an Inferno match between the two.
Oh, good Lord.
Or wait a minute, it's not an Inferno match no more. It's a Ring of Fire match. Remember? Did you watch?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh man. Oh boy. Let's just not even talk about that. But did you see that they also made Cena look like he was injured at the end, holding his knee?
Yeah, he flew me.
He did what?
Oh, he fooled me.
Yeah, he fooled me too. I thought he was injured for real, but then I came back on I looked on the dirt sheet and they said, yeah, it's just an angle. So they fooled me too.
Hopefully it's just an angle because I mean, I don't think he's that good of an actor, but he was selling it.
Yeah, they did a great job selling that if that wasn't real.
He was on to swing his legs outside of the ring. To protect his legs like that, to me, I guess that just seemed like something I've never seen before, I guess.
Maybe Cena's just a great actor. Obviously, he's a great actor because it looked real to me. I don't know. But obviously, everybody says that he's fine. They're gonna play an injury angle with him, I guess, leading into Mania. You know, but they could also be doing that, just saying we don't want people to know that Cena's injured again already. You know, let's just play it as an angle if he's going to be all right by Mania. You know?
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope he's not really hurt. No, that would suck for Mania and WWE. Period. After that, Christian and Sheamus had the match of the night, in my opinion. That was one stiff, hard-hitting wrestling match, old school style. I loved that match. I actually want to go back and watch that match again because I liked it so much. Christian and Sheamus, this is a feud that should go on. That really, it has some potential. These guys have chemistry in the ring. I mean, they were really laying in the hits, man. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I bet you this is a match. I bet you this is WrestleMania.
I think so too. I would love to see that match at Mania. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because that was a great match just for Raw, and that's definitely the match of the night for me.
Definitely.
After that, you had Bryan come out. Oh no, Bryan was backstage. Challenged Triple H to a match right there tonight on Raw. Oh no, Bryan demanded a Mania match too. Triple H said that he would find a spot for him. Stephanie said he'd better be worried about his match with Kane later that night. I kind of screwed all that up, but he did. He came back and challenged Triple H to a match. Triple H, kind of laughed it off, and then Bryan, demanded a match at Mania with him, and, he kind of laughed that off, too, saying that he might find a spot for him. And then Steph said
I think this could work. I think this could work.
I like the feud. I liked it ever since that night that they threw him, in Punk's spot, and he came out there at that first segment and got up in his face, and I think from right there was the spark of that whole feud, and I think it's going to be a good match.
Gonna have to put him over at Mania.
Yeah, they're going to have to put Bryan over, don't you think?
Have to.
Yeah. But it's going to be a great match, in my opinion, if Triple H is, he hasn't been doing any wrestling, so he should be fine.
Oh, yeah.
He should be ready to pull off a good match. Daniel Bryan definitely ain't going to let you down on that stage. Guaranteed.
No way.
After...
I mean, you got to remember, Triple H is probably one of the best workers to ever do it,
Right.
And then you put him in the ring with the best wrestler, and arguably the best wrestler in the world right now.
Yeah, arguably. I say hands down, pound for pound, he's the best.
Yeah.
He's not big, but pound for pound, he could be the best. So after that, they set up the match for Kane and Bryan. After that, the Shield were talking backstage. Ambrose said he was tired of having to explain himself about what happened the night before on the Chamber that we talked about when Bray Wyatt chased him through the crowd and he just disappeared. Ambrose left, all ticked off. Reigns and Rollins, are talking about how they don't know if he's telling the truth. They don't know whether they trust him or not. Just like we've been saying, it looks like the dissension's coming slowly but surely. After that, Bray Wyatt interrupts Reigns, which kind of ticks off Reigns because he didn't like getting interrupted. And he challenged Bray on the spot to a match, but said with no Shield and no Wyatt family at ringside. And Bray accepted. I thought that was a cool segment backstage because it got you thinking about the Shield split up again and got the story. We got the story about Ambrose leaving because I didn't even know if they were going to bring that up, but they did.
Right.
So I thought that was a good segment. What'd you think?
I loved it. I mean, anything that Bray Wyatt said, I'm really digging it. I'm really digging Roman Reigns, man.
Oh, I'm big on Roman Reigns and I'm big on Wyatt.
So far.
So you got two of the best wrestlers, Wyatt and Reigns, coming up in the company going at it later in the night. That was great. When I heard that, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be great.
Oh, so excited.
Yeah, I was too. And finally, after that, they had the match between Daniel Bryan and Kane, which Kane kind of looked like he was a lost Right to Censor member. With that white shirt and the black pants and everything, I just wanted to point that out. Did he not? Like,
yeah.
He's going to bring Right to Censor back, I think. I mean, come on, if we see Bull Buchanan come out with him next week or something. No, I'm just joking. Stevie Richards comes out as his mouthpiece. We know something's going on. Bryan actually hit the running knee for the win. Bryan then calls out Triple H for screwing the fans ever since that he's been put in the role of the authority, and says that he is a coward that hides behind his wife's skirt. And then he told Triple H to listen to the fans and listen to the yes chants and give the fans what they want, and that is a match with Triple H at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan. We know right now that he's definitely not going to main event Mania now. But he is going to be in a great match, like we said, against Triple H. What do you think? We already pretty much talked about all this. We think it's going to be a great match. It's a good feud. It's good for Daniel Bryan. It's better than just being tossed down and put into some kind of lower card match that didn't matter.
Right.
Because Triple H is not going to be a non-focal point of a pay-per-view. So that's good for Bryan. That's good for Bryan, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely agree.
Although many fans, even me, I think he should be in the main event. But it is what it is. We don't run it, so we can only comment and say what we can say, so I don't know if it's the right thing to do. But they're going to have a good match.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about that, so we'll just go on from here. I think we can pretty much fly through. Summer Rae took on Emma. We got to see Emma in the ring finally. She tapped out Summer. She did look good in the ring.
Yep.
She had a submission move, the Emma lock, that she used as the finisher. I still don't care for the gimmick, the dancing gimmick. They actually had her own theme song from NXT coming out this week.
You just gotta laugh at it, man.
I know you're a fan of it and all, but man,
You just gotta laugh at it.
I guess it's kind of growing on me, I started doing the dance at work today, okay? So I did the high step and then started doing the thing. I think it's kind of funny, actually, now. But you know what I didn't really like at the first? What really got me is when they had her doing the Santino power walk and stuff.
That's hilarious.
No, that was
That
was goofy. You could say it's hilarious, but it was goofy. I'd rather her come out and do her own gimmick. Much better. Santino just kind of looked at Emma like, what are you doing? It was kind of funny on the entrance there. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Like, he didn't do his power walk this time. He was just kind of looking at Emma like, what are you doing? I can't wait till they get him to start doing the dance.
Oh, that would be
They
great.
come out together and do the stomp and then start doing the dance together. That would be great. It's growing on me, I guess, Emma. She needs a last name, though, or something.
Well, they're not big fans of last names anymore. They just drop Langston.
Well, yeah, it's just one-word names now. That's right. It's just going to be Reigns after a while. Reigns and Wyatt. Okay, so after that, the Usos took on the New Age Outlaws in one of the quickest matches on Raw in recent history. Usos cut off New Age Outlaws' patented promo. Jimmy superkicked Road Dogg. Jay threw out Billy Gunn, and then he did a nice through-the-rope splash on him, and then Jimmy come off the top with the big splash on Road Dogg and finished him off for the win. So this was pretty much just showing you that the Usos aren't going anywhere in the contention for the title. They're very high on the Usos, and I think they're going to get a title reign, and it could come at WrestleMania. I'm looking at a 4-way tag team turmoil match at Mania, maybe.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Cody Goldust, the Usos, New Age Outlaws, and I don't know who else you could throw in there.
The Real Americans.
Real Americans, you're right. But I just see him pushing Cesaro more than throwing him in a tag match.
You can push him after WrestleMania. What are you going to push him to at WrestleMania?
You're
You ain't
right.
got nothing for him.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah, you're right. That would be the best thing to do.
You push him, you give him that WrestleMania match. Swagger somehow costs them the match. You break them up at Extreme Rules, and then you can do whatever you want to with Cesaro after that.
I kind of thought it was funny that they broke up the primetime players before the Real Americans.
Yeah, nobody really cares for the primetime players, though. Unfortunately, I like it. I like the dance.
I thought they were getting over good with the crowd.
Yeah.
I thought they could have been a good team to just throw in as that fourth team, too, for this turmoil, and you wouldn't have to deal with the Cesaro Swagger deal.
Right.
But
Too late for that, though.
Yeah, too late for that, I guess. As far as that match went, though, it was a short match. They got that over with quick. And I that's why I said in recent history, I don't think I've seen a faster match. Roman Reigns finally took on Bray Wyatt in the main event actual match. This match went a little bit different. It wasn't as great a match because a lot of stuff happened. You had a good match going, and then Reigns called out for the Superman punch, but the lights went out, and Harper and Rowan are standing there at ringside. And then you had Rollins coming out again And still in the show with the suicide dive on both of those guys out of nowhere. It was great. And then
That's crazy.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah, that guy's nuts.
He's good. He's good. Rollins gets double teamed though, and then Ambrose, that crazy bastard, shows up out of nowhere. Reigns finally hits the Superman punch on Wyatt as Ambrose is out there saving Rollins. But then after he hits the Superman punch on Wyatt, Ambrose jumps into the ring and causes a DQ because he goes after Wyatt. But it didn't get any time to have any dissension over that because a brawl ensued, which ended up with the Shield clearing the ring and standing tall as the Wyatts retreated. Do you think this feud's going to keep going on, or do you think that the Shield are going to be done by Mania?
I mean, they're going to have to do something different with the Shield at Mania because you've got Bray and John.
Well, they're not gonna do Triple H and Reigns like they were talking, obviously. So I see the Shield in a triple threat match at Mania
For the title.
for the United States title, and Reigns wins it.
Yep.
And then that would set up a unification match.
Sure would.
They got to get rid of that U.S. title.
That'd be awesome.
It might. Do you agree with that?
Put that Intercontinental title on Reigns.
Yeah. Don't you?
You have to unify it because of The Rock holding it and Rikishi and all of that.
Right. Right. I would not want to get rid of the Intercontinental because that's the WWE's belt, but they need to get rid of the U.S.
Yeah.
It's one belt. It's one belt too many. He never really defends it. The last few weeks they brought it up, but they got to get rid of it. But overall, they left the cliffhanger on that one, and we'll see what happens with the Shield next week. They made the Wyatts look kind of weak on that as they cleared the ring of them, though. So I'm thinking maybe another 6-man match coming up next week.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. So that would move us on to the final segment of Raw, which was absolutely a mark-out moment for me.
Oh, man.
Heyman and Brock come out, claim Orton and Batista should just have the match, and the winner should just take on Lesnar for the belt at Mania. And then they said since that's not going to happen, an open challenge has been issued for Brock, which I think, did Brock say that Triple H made the open challenge?
Yeah, the contract was for an open challenge. He could taste whatever he wanted to.
But didn't Brock say he was really not caring about doing it?
Right.
Okay, and then they started to leave after they said that, I think, and then all of a sudden it's the classic gong.
Something historic.
Oh my God, Taker's gong hits, and he comes out and faces Lesnar, which was just
I've
epic.
heard it a million times, and it still gives me that crazy goosebumps every time I hear it.
I love Taker, and I mean, I don't care if they just keep coming and bringing him out once a year, as long as he don't go anywhere, I'm fine with it.
Right, absolutely, 100% with you.
He has the right to do what he's doing right now. A lot of the guys that fight like once a year, like The Rock and stuff, really didn't pay as many dues as the Undertaker. Undertaker really deserves it.
Right.
To get just that one Mania match in a year. He really does deserve it. He's the greatest of all time in WWE. In WWF history, I would say he's probably the top superstar of all time as far as longevity and being on top. I mean, you can make an argument he's been on top longer than Hogan has, or Hogan or Austin or Rock, all three of them. He's been on top in the main event picture ever since Hogan's been in there. So that just tells you right there the impact that Undertaker has made on professional wrestling. And I'm going to tell you right now that the match between him and Brock at Mania is going to be one physical hell of battle. The way they had it set up, though, is Taker. Brock actually takes the pin, shoves it into Taker's chest, and tells him to sign the contract. Taker kind of does a look up at the Mania sign and looks slowly back down at Brock. And right then, he sticks the pin right through Brock's hand. which was really neat in my opinion. I've never seen him do that. And then after that, he actually signs the contract by choke slamming Brock through the table, and the match is set. What'd you think of that? That was the coolest ending that they could even came up with, in my opinion. I don't think they could have ended it any better than that.
No, yeah, absolutely.
That was the launch of the WWE Network right there. That sold my that right there sold me on getting Mania. You know, so even if I can't get it through the network like we're going to talk about, I would still pay to see Mania just to see that match.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I can't either. I think Mania is going to be great. Steven's saying Mania isn't going to be great this year, actually. And if you're listening, Steven, we'd like to hear your opinion on that and everything. But I really do think it's going to be a good Mania. His argument was that taking out the element of you've already bought the pay-per-view, so he thinks that it's not going to be as good. Like, it's not going to force them to even try to make a good pay-per-view because everybody's already bought it on the network. Which I don't know. We'll have to have him discuss that next week about the network. Overall on the network, since you can get it to use, what do you think of it?
I enjoy it.
One thing that I did discover, though, is I signed up for it and everything, but then I found out that you cannot use it with Windows XP. So I have to update to Windows 8 to be able to use it, which I will be updating to Windows 8 before WrestleMania because I'm not going to miss Mania for $10 a month. But I think there's like millions and millions of XP users out there that are having the same problem as me. So if you listen to this show and you signed up and you have Windows XP, it's not going to work. It's not been working on Xbox 360s either.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you have 250,000 people sign up for something all at once,
they had 133,000 people sign up at the moment it launched.
Yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah, and I should have done that, I think. I don't think it would have mattered to me though because I have Windows XP. I'm not rich by far, you know what I mean? So I have to go out and buy Windows 8 now. So that's the only thing that I'm disappointed about in it. And another thing is you have to stream it to your TV. It's not available on any kind of TV network.
If you have a smart TV or a PlayStation or an Xbox, you can get to it. But yeah, no, there's no channel.
And that was one of the things. Steven thought it was going to be more like an MLB network where they'll show things on TV, but then you could go on as on the internet. I just don't think they really advertised it right and told people really what was going to happen and what you could use and what you couldn't use. I was kind of disappointed in the whole deal there. The technical errors. It's going to take probably several weeks to figure it out. They're doing a lot of beta testing and trying to get the streams to work more smooth and stuff. And as I said, I haven't been able to use it or even watch it, so I can't really make a comment on that. But what do you think about the streaming on it?
I mean, there's some points where it lags a little bit, but I haven't had any serious issues since launch at all. I've watched 3 or 4 different pay-per-views. The only thing I would say, I would like a feature to be able to just jump to a specific match.
They do have that now. They have put bookmarks on there, I heard. That you can jump to a certain match now.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. I read that yesterday. I'm glad you brought that up. They're still putting new features on there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so you'll have to go check that out. You'll have to confirm that for me though. Text me and tell me if that's true.
Yeah, I can let you know.
But the bottom line is, if you're in my shoes and you had Windows XP and you bought this, would you be disappointed?
Well, I mean, Windows XP is pretty old. I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised that it didn't work.
I'm not surprised, but why can Netflix and Hulu Plus, everything else works with the XP, but this don't? I
don't know, man. I'm not that far into the computer world. I didn't tell you that much.
Yeah, everything works. Well, this is just what the technical support team told me that it's not compatible with XP, but they didn't tell anybody about this, so that's one of my main complaints. I'm going to have to get Windows 8 to check it out, but I do love the network. I think it's going to be great. One of the reasons I do think that they did it, though, is because the pay-per-view buys were getting so bad that they went ahead and said, let's just do this and see if we can change the pay-per-view industry, make it cheaper, and see if we're going to make more money by making it cheaper than losing money by charging $45 and nobody buying it.
Well, I mean, it's hard to justify a $60 or $55 pay-per-view every month, you know?
It really is. And another thing I thought of is it's kind of wiped the it's kind of killed the pay-per-view business, period, because what's TNA going to do now? They're going to charge $5 for their pay-per-view?
Right.
I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Are they still going to... Are they even going to still carry WWE pay-per-views for people who don't have the network?
That will be interesting to find out.
I don't know. We'll find all this out, though. But that pretty much concludes the show, though, Matt. They didn't induct anybody in the Hall of Fame. I heard Paul Bearer's name mentioned, Scott Hall's name mentioned, but they didn't induct anybody.
No, I think I read somewhere that they ran out of time. I guess it got bumped till next week.
Okay. I'd like to see Paul Bearer put in.
That was one of my predictions from the beginning of the show.
Yeah, and I've heard rumors that he is in. So, good prediction, Matt. But my final thought is I would love to see CM Punk Monday in Chicago, and I think it's going to be a great Raw. That is my final thought.
Awesome.
What's your final thought, Matt?
I hope he shows up.
CM Punk's our final thought. I'm going to say peace out till next week. That's episode 6 done. Tune in next week to episode 7. Hopefully Steven will be back. What's up, Steven? Sorry you weren't here, man. We missed you. I'm saying take it easy to everybody out there.
Yeah.
Take it easy, everybody.